Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our NFL Week 2 preview between the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Browns.
When you look at the Browns in this matchup, the interior offensive line must play better. They struggled last week versus the Miami Dolphins, opening up holes in the running game and also keeping Wheaton protected in the pocket. They're going to have a better game this time around because they're going against a better defense in Baltimore. And as far as running the football is concerned, the attempts are more important than a yard. So you have to get your rushing attempts up. You have to feed Trent Richardson. He's a volume ball carrier, a guy that gets better with each and every carry. The attempts are more important than the yards. That way the play action pass can work effectively. And on defense, they welcome back Barkevious Mingo, and he could be a key factor in this game, bringing the pressure off the edge. They're a very good defensive football team, and now you get your first round pick back in the fold, so that should help them be a little bit more aggressive this week versus the Ravens. And you want to challenge the receivers in the passing game at the line of scrimmage until they're able to prove that they can get off bump press consistently and make catches downfield. You can get aggressive in your pressure packages and also get aggressive on the corners. Now for the Baltimore Ravens, the young receivers have to step up and play their roles. They don't have to be superstars. They just have to be consistent and move the chains. If they can do that, this offense will look a lot better this week as opposed to what happened in Denver. And Ray Rice is the offense, and everything on offense does well off of his success. So you have to get the running game going. You have to get him involved early, and everyone else will benefit directly. And they have to win the battle up front. You look at both Chris Canty and Haloti Ngata, two outstanding defensive linemen, and I think they can have some success versus that weakened interior offensive line of the Browns. They're going to have to hold their own at the point of attack throughout the course of the ball game. And you want to send one extra at Brandon Wheaton. You want to hurry up his decision-making process, force him to get rid of that football quickly, so that way you can rally up, make the tackle, and get these guys off the field. Now let's go inside the lab to take a look at some X's and O's for both teams in this matchup.
In order for the Cleveland Browns to have some success versus the Baltimore Ravens, they have to make Joe Flacco uncomfortable in the pocket. And I'm going to show you a banjo blitz, which is cover 1 disguised as cover 2 pre-snap, and we're going to blitz the free safety. So we're going to blitz this guy, and it's a banjo blitz, which means we have two backers combo covering the tight end. I've explained this a lot, but in case you haven't heard it before, banjo blitz is two guys combo covering one player to the strong side. So if this running back goes out this way, it's this backer's job to cover him, and this backer takes over for coverage of the tight end. That's a banjo blitz. So what the responsibilities are, we're going to be manned up on the corners. Excellent corners in Cleveland. They can play man press by themselves without much help on the Baltimore Ravens wide receivers. We're going to have the strong side backer. He's lined up in a 9 technique, and his job is to play contain versus the outside run. And if no run is coming his way, he drops into his banjo coverage. 5 technique lines up, and he's playing control. He's controlling the C gap and playing contain versus the run, and also containing the quarterback in case he wants to get outside the pocket. We have the strong side middle backer here. His job is to walk up as if he's blitzing, and if it's a run coming this way, he secures the B gap. Otherwise, he drops into his banjo coverage. Nose tackle job is to attack the weak side A gap, so he's shooting that gap there. Weak side inside linebacker's job is to loop around and contain the outside run as well as the quarterback. So he's looping around here because we have the 5 technique crashing in the B gap. So we have two guys attacking here. He's more of a contained blitzer. So if the run is going this way as well, his job is to chase the strong side run, but also playing contain versus the quarterback. And we have the linebacker here dropping back into his coverage. Now, pre-snap, what we're going to do, we're going to have the free safety walk up as the cadence is starting to wind down, and he's going to shoot the A gap. So we got double A gap pressure. We're blitzing two guys across the face of the tackle, and we're dropping the free safety deep in cover 1. So if they can get pressure on Joe Flacco with the banjo blitz, blitzing the free safety, taking a chance with their corners covering the wide receivers of the Baltimore Ravens, I think the Browns have an excellent chance to play some great defense this week versus Baltimore. One of the things Joe Flacco does exceptionally well is hit the skinny post with ease. He can really drive the football in there. And one of the staples in the Ravens playbook is the inside zone, and they run that skinny post off of the play action. I'm going to show you exactly how they do it and why it's so effective. It's about influencing the safety. So you have the safety over here, and you want to run routes to cross the safety. You have to get the safety confused to think I'm going to jump this route instead of jumping that route. So they're running their inside zone. The Ravens do a great job of doing that. Flacco can turn his back, reset, fire the football downfield. So you're going to have an in route that's going to be 10 yards and in. That's going to draw the safety. Why? Because he saw the inside zone fake. He's flying up on this in route that's 10 yards, and we have the backside skinny post at 10 to 15. And you have your crossers as well, and that's always important. This guy is going to slow block and maybe work himself up and go in, but we're bringing a crosser across, and that's always your built-in hot route. So this is your first read, and this will be your second read. So if he sees the safety squatting on this in route, Flacco knows once he turns around, he can drive that football up here for the skinny post. Otherwise, he'll hit the crosser coming across the field. So the Ravens do a lot with their tight ends to get multiple, bringing in 2 tight ends. But after that inside zone fake, Flacco turns around and fires the football deep down the field. He should have a lot of opportunities, as I think he'll see a lot of cover 1 versus the Cleveland Browns, and that way they can hit big plays downfield off of the play action pass.
Now here are some coaching points for both teams in this ball game. For the Browns, Brandon Wheaton has to be decisive when he throws the football. A decisive pass is an accurate pass. An indecisive throw tends to sail and could be intercepted. And the Browns have to do a better job on third down. Last week they were 1 for 14. That will get you beat each and every week. You have to stay on the field if you want a chance to win the ball game. And you have to be disruptive defensively. You have to get Joe Flacco. You have to frustrate that passing game, and you also have to limit what they do on the ground. If they can be disruptive defensively, the Browns have an excellent chance to win this game. And for the Ravens, you want to work the receivers in the game plan early. You want to build that rhythm between Flacco and those young targets, so that way later on in the game, both guys have the trust that they can make the play. And you don't forget Ray Rice is in the backfield. Get this guy the football on the ground as a receiver. He gets better with each and every touch, preferably every carry. So don't forget you have one of the best backs in the league in your backfield, and you want to make this game Brandon Wheaton versus Joe Flacco. So you have to stop the run, make this a passing game, and that way you can unleash that pressure on that Browns offense. The X factor for the Browns will be that front 7. I was impressed last week with what they did versus the Miami Dolphins. They just needed an offense to help them out. They're going to have that type of effort again this week versus the Ravens, and I think they can make it happen. The X factor for the Ravens will be that offensive line. Can they keep Flacco well protected in the pocket? Last week versus the Broncos, things started to break down later on in the game, and Flacco started to suffer. If they can keep him well protected, he'll be able to find those targets deep downfield. I like the Ravens in this ballgame, although this will be a very good defensive game on both sides. I think both defenses are excellent, but I can trust the Ravens to run the football with more effectiveness with Ray Rice as opposed to the Browns trying to force the issue with the passing game. So I think the Ravens will take care of business at home. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Raven fan forums and Brown fan forums for always showing football game plan support.